What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one, man. Check this out, man. People, today we want to talk about something that is so controversial, right? So, the main thing that's coming to mind, right, is that you have government departments, municipalities, you have budgets, and you have funds, and you have proposals, and you have requests, and you have all these things that go into building, maintaining, and running cities, municipalities, right? That enable provinces to function as mini countries, right? All because there's budgets and there's these things, right? Now, here's my thing, right? So I don't understand why a department will have, or a municipality will have funds allocated to it because it requested a certain amount, right? To aid it in its development of said city, of said province, of said whatever, right? Then the money comes. And the funny thing is, they don't use all of the money. They either do two things. Either they spend, either they squander the money, or what's left of it, or they send it back to treasury. Why on earth would municipalities do this? Why on earth would government departments do this? That's what we're getting into today, finding out what's happening to all the funds that are going into these government departments and these municipalities. Let me know what you think about this topic conversation. Join me as we discover and delve deeper into it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we're family, right? Holla. People, running and maintaining cities is no child's play, right? It takes a team. It takes a whole lot of due diligence. It takes a whole lot of effort. It takes money. It takes resources. It, most importantly, it takes people with skills, knowledge, and the ability and the willingness to execute such a big task, right? So here's my thing. City of Cape Town. I want to talk about Cape Town because I'm from, I'm living here, right? My city, my town, my hood. So I'm representing Cape Town. So you know what we do. So this is my thing, right? So we have Cape Town, a beautiful city, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, right? Constantly, always on the top 10, top 20. It's always Cape Town, beautiful, no doubt, right? And a lot of things go into making the city what it is, the beautiful city of Cape Town, right? As the world has come to know about it. So over the past few years, man, Cape Town has been has been neglected and selectively so. Now, this is the reason why. You see, if you go to the city of Cape Town, the center of Cape Town, like town itself, right? And then you go towards Green Point, Sea Point, you see that there's effort, there's money, there's things being done there. You know what I mean? You hardly see potholes there. You know, money is being well spent there, which is a good thing, right? Then you go in the opposite direction. Now you go to Woodstock, Salt River, Maitland, coming down. Now you start to see the other side of Cape Town that they don't want you to see, that the videos don't show you, right? And that's where you see that not enough money, or not even a cent is being spent over there. Now, it may not be entirely true to say not even a cent, because obviously there are services that are being rendered, may not be to the fullest capacity that they could be rendered because there's a lack of funding. But the sad reality is this, right? Selected areas, obviously the more affluent areas, they get all the services because they're paying higher rates, higher taxes, higher this, so the higher bracket. So I totally understand that the services will match the income of that area. And it's only obvious that those that spend more will get more, which only makes perfect sense. So we perfectly get that. My question is this: why are there places that still look the same since the days of apartheid? That's like almost 30 years ago. There are areas that look the same 30 years ago. The only development that probably came is maybe flushing toilets. Potholes are the norm. Broken sewage systems. No security. Just even the police service doesn't work. Ambulance take forever to come. It just is not the same. Now, I'm not saying they should be on par with the affluent areas. What I'm simply saying is they should be development. It doesn't matter how small, but at least there should be changes. Do you know what I mean? It should reflect the changing times, and the budget should be allocated to such things. Now, if you cannot do small things like fencing schools, let's give an example, right? You cannot do things like upgrading clinics, hospitals. You, it's like just daily mundane things that are in your everyday faces that you can't even fix those things. Now, then we have a problem. Don't you think so? So my whole point is we get these big budgets, and these budgets come in, right? They say one, two, three, four need to be addressed. For sure. They address three of those things, two of those things. Money goes back. Or then the money's up, the money's finished, the money's spent, the money's eaten, the money's squandered, the money disappears. How, guys? How? How is there no accountability happening? How is that even possible that there isn't an account, I know there's a parliamentary watchdog, right? But that's proved to be ineffective because money is still going missing, unaccounted for. Okay, so how about we do a blockchain thing where every cent is tracked and seen and monitored where it is going to? How about we do that? Because to be honest, it is totally unfair for governments or for government departments or for municipalities to be either squandering money that's supposedly allocated for certain things that doesn't even happen, and or returning what they deem as excess cash or excess funds back to treasury when there's a whole host of things that could be fixed, repaired, or renewed, or simply new things that could be developed. But instead, the funds are returned to treasury. So that is a totally unfair thing to do to the population. I really think that is totally unfair. Now, as a taxpayer, you feel it because you know, for example, like you paying your taxes on time, and yet you're moving on roads that barely even have tar on them. So what are you paying taxes for? You live in neighborhoods where it's not even safe for you to even leave your homes, but you have to because you need to earn a living. So where is the fairness in that? Understand what I'm saying, guys? I think we should come up with a system of, like I said, the blockchain system where every cent is accounted for, where the ledger, where everything is seen on a public system, where we can all go and view and say, no, this, and that. You know, where we need to have public input, and we can actually physically see what is going on. Like how they monitor the elections and they show these results going in. They should have something like that on big screens everywhere, where it shows where each and every where the money is going, where the money is spent, and they need to account and show for it. What do you think about my suggestion? Do you think it's a good suggestion or not? Next, we get into the pros. You know how we do it, but before we get into the pros, we get to have some fun, right? Holla. So, the pros of sending money back to Treasury. Pro number one, at least the money is not disappearing. At least they're accounting for some of the money that is being sent back to Treasury. At least we know they took X amount of billions and X amount was returned to Treasury. At least that is some form of accountability, I guess. That's a pro. Another pro that I can think of is You putting money back into treasury adds to the budget that goes to the national government, which can then spend monies on more important stuff around the country, right? Those are the only two pros I can think of. Because why on God's green earth would you request X amount of billions and not spend all of it? Did you not do your due diligence to find out how much you need exactly to do whatever it is you need to do to improve your city, your town? I mean, it takes a whole host of people, a, an entire team to make stupid fundamental mistakes that even a layman can see, that even a high school student, a college student can fix if they had the money. Now, I don't know what the red tape is. I don't know how it really works. But all I do know is this thing of spending money, stealing money, and returning money does not benefit the cities in any way, shape, or form, especially if the funds that were sent back could have been utilized or could be utilized in areas that lack service delivery. Now, if all the areas had services rendered to them to the capacity that was meant for those areas, and then money was sent back, then I would perfectly understand. But if you're sending money back to Treasury or you're squandering money, and yet there's block drains, there's schools that have no fences. There are clinics that do not have certain facilities and cannot perform duties, and they have to transfer patients from one clinic to another clinic simply because this clinic does not have a certain stuff like that. Just simple. I know it's not as simple as it is, but to the world, a government that has trillions in its coffers cannot do something as small as, let's just say, a container, or what they call a mobile clinic. I don't know how much it costs to either build or buy or import a mobile clinic. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that it does not cost $1 trillion. And one thing I do know is that the government can afford to install mobile clinics wherever they want to, or even mobile schools. But yet we still have children that are studying under trees. Does that make perfect sense to you? You got children studying under trees, and yet you're sending money back, and yet you're squandering money. Please tell me, how does that even make sense to you? Right? Next, we get into the cons. You know how we do. Holla. Three. People, in the con section, do you know? Let's give an example. Let's just say 5 billion was either squandered or sent back to Treasury, one of the two, right? Go to places like Atlantis, Heidelfeld, Menenberg, Hanover Park, Heinz Park, Hangberg, or even Winterfeld, you know, in Pretoria, Soshanguve, those places. Do you know what 5 billion rand can do to transform places like that? Guys, it is so heartbreaking to go from Camps Bay, Sea Point, Bantry Bay, Bishop's Court, Constantia. Then you travel all the way to the Cape Flats. Then you see the stark difference in just the appearance, in just the atmosphere, just the feel of those areas. Dude, it even gets to a point where the air is so different. Do you know how $5 billion can transform a neighborhood? Do you know how 5 billion rand can can improve the lives of the people living in those impoverished societies and communities. So, when a municipality or a political party decides to send back funds, much needed funds at that, or decides to squander much needed funds, do you know what that does to the psyche of the people? Knowing this information, that public toilets are a mess, housing is a mess, sewage, sewage and drainage systems are a mess, schools are a mess, degradation and decay all around, and you sending money back, or you are squandering much needed funds? Guys, that is a negative on the local economy. Like, for example, like Cape Town's economy would be much improved if all the money was spent on all the important and relevant things. But because monies are being spent, or monies are being squandered, or monies are being sent back, the much needed infrastructure, the much needed systems, the much needed um, facilities cannot be attended to because the allocated funds are not being allocated to said problems. So what does that do? It in turn impacts on the economy, on the budget of the city, on the economy of the city. You see what I mean? And over time it compounds. And what we don't get to see is that we'll see that next year. All this next year, it all adds up. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Holla. Yo, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we're family, right? Holla.